All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the world. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown. All three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I am going to be reviewing The Deep Blue Goodbye by John D. MacDonald. This is book #1 in his Travis McGee series. I think there are 25 books in the series or something like that. Anyway, came out in 1964. The reason I got this book was because all of my favorite thriller writers and all of my favorite mystery writers, like Dennis Lehane, Michael Connelly, Nelson DeMille, all of them basically say John D. MacDonald is their favorite writer. So I figured I better give him a shot. And one of the reasons I'm giving him a shot is because the publisher, Random House, has reissued every single book in this Travis McGee series in these nice paperback editions. And so I can get, if I like this, and you'll see if I like it in a minute. If I liked this, we can go ahead and buy the rest of the series, and they will all look dope on the shelf. And speaking of that, let's talk about the cover, because, you know, that's part of why I collect books, is I like graphic design and cover illustration. And so let's check this out. Now, just so you know, all of the reissued paperbacks have the same sort of design. They've got a old-timey photo on the bottom with the title here, Travis McGee novel here, and the title of the author up here. So all of them do match. If you put all the covers together, they will match. Same with the spines, just different color. And then the backside, whatever. So, yeah, the covers are cool. The covers are cool. The covers are cool enough that if I really like this, I'm going to get the entire set of Travis McGee novels. So, let's talk about it. Came out in 1964. John D. MacDonald has been around for a long time. In fact, Lee Child, the guy who wrote Jack Reacher, does the introduction to this book. It's about a 2-page introduction where he talks about John D. MacDonald and how he really wasn't supposed to be an author. I mean, the guy was the son, John D. MacDonald was the son of a very, very, very wealthy man. And John D. MacDonald got very, very, very expensive educations at very, very prestigious colleges, and was supposed to be like some spectacular, like, entrepreneur or lawyer or Wall Street, you know, like the Wolf of Wall Street or whatever. But he's decided he wanted to write. Thing is, that it ended up paying off because he sold millions and millions and millions of copies of his books, became one of the most prolific authors of the 60s and 70s with his mystery series. And in fact, if you ever saw the movie Cape Fear with Robert De Niro, it's based off of a John D. MacDonald novel. So anyway, that's a little history on the author. What's this book about? It's about Travis McGee. He's a dude just living in Florida. He lives on a boat in Fort Lauderdale in the bay, and the boat he lives on is called the Busted Flush. It's a 52-foot houseboat. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that's where he lives. He's just kind of like a dude, and but he's a bit of a tough dude. He's a bit of a smart guy. Anyway, he's got a girlfriend named Chuki, and she's a dancer, and Chuki has kind of got a bit of an attitude, but that's all right. I like the interplay. I like the dialogue. That's the thing about these John D. MacDonald. This book I read is the dialogue is snappy. Reminds me a lot of Elmore Leonard. And I can see why Dennis Lehane and people like that really like this guy, because his writing is really sharp and fast and quick, and the conversations are really cool to follow, just like a Tarantino movie. I get it. I get why this guy was popular, because this is written in 1964, but it has a real modern voice to it. And that plays out pretty early on in the story with between Travis and his girlfriend Chuki. Now Chuki introduces Travis to another dancer named Kathy. It never can be good. If your girlfriend's a dancer and she bringing other dancers around the houseboat, you know what's gonna happen. But anyway, Kathy is this backwoods girl, really pretty, but from like, I mean, she ain't from Florida. She's from like Kentucky, like deep woods Kentucky. She doesn't know a whole lot. And she got this boyfriend who beats the ever-loving out of her daily. And so Travis now is like, well, I'm going to put a stop to this shit because nobody should be treating you like that. And it's told from Travis's, the whole book is told from first person from Travis. He's got a great witty personality, like a Jack Reacher type personality, like you know, the Robert B. Parker Spencer personality. It's like a big personality. He doesn't take crap from anybody. He's always kind of like the smartest dude in the room. And he wants to get Kathy's boyfriend to stop beating on her. And so this is kind of the plot, is him just going after this abusive boyfriend. And I'm not going to tell you much about the plot beyond that, but we get, through Travis's perspective, we get his thoughts on life, on relationships, on women, on the state of Florida, on politics. I mean, it's just cool, and the guy has some pretty interesting, unique, and funny takes on stuff, especially on relationships, especially the relationships that he's in himself, and the women that he seems to invite into his life. And there's actually, well, the last thing I'm going to mention is there's a character in here named Wherein, spelled exactly like the Moraine in the Wheel of Time books. I was like, whoa, that's okay. Did Robert Jordan take that name from this book and put it in there? I don't know. I'm just saying it's there. Pretty significant character, too. I was like, damn, well, that blew my mind. Wherein, anyway. I liked the book. I thought it was cool, and I think I'm probably going to go ahead and buy the rest of the series. I give this a solid 9 out of 10, and I can only think that the series gets better and more clever and more cool as it goes on, because this is book number 1, and it's one of the very first books that John D. MacDonald wrote, so, you know, I mean, I can only think the dude got sharper as he went along. Anyway, that's it. That's the review of this.